Alaska is the definition of the great outdoors. We have so much to do here between fishing and hunting and scenery and hiking and wildlife. It's just that nothing beats Alaska. I've been all over the world and all over the United States, and nothing's like home when you live here, that's for sure. Plumbing is definitely hard work, and plumbing in Alaska is absolutely a little bit harder. I don't know if times are changing. Nobody wants to get out and work with their hands anymore. It's difficult. Nobody's just knocking down your door trying to become a plumber every single day. That could be just from the misconceptions of what a plumber really is.
Plumbing in Alaska, especially in the winter, can be some of the most difficult conditions a plumber can deal with. But Bill Labuda, owner of Hard Rok Plumbing and Heating, says that it's worth it to be there. I'm Craig Morgan, and this is American Plumber Stories.
Some days I'm working before the sun kisses the sky. I watch the world wake up from the seat of my truck. I'm out here earning my piece of the pie. A good honest buck, no it ain't love. I was taught to do the things I do so I don't depend on anyone. I work hard enough through the year so I play whenever I want. I have more than I deserve, including a wife who says I'm hot. Yeah, it's better than a good life that I got.
My name is Bill Labuda. I own Hard Rok Plumbing. I'm an American plumber, owned my business for almost 22 years.
Bill is a very laid-back and easygoing boss who's very smart and knowledgeable in his trade.
In Alaska, you're getting called out on frozen pipes. You're working on hydronic heating systems that are frozen and broken, so they get cross-trained quite a bit on doing both those. You know, soldering the pipes and designing the heating systems that are going in the houses, because heating's so important up here. So we got into a niche. Everything we do is hydronic heating, heating your home with some type of hot water baseboard or hot in-floor heat in the slab that heats your house. So this is a boiler in-floor heat system. This boiler actually provides the heat, and it's pumped through the boiler into our secondary piping that we put all together. Short has soldered this thing all together and built this system. The heat is delivered by these pumps out to the in-floor heat manifold. So this is able to break the house into, this particular home is 1, 2, 3, 4 zones of heat, right? This boiler also at any given time will switch and start heating this indirect hot water heater, which this particular indirect hot water heater will produce about 400 gallons an hour of first hour recovery, compared to a natural gas water heater. A 50-gallon, 50,000 BTU natural gas water heater does 50 gallons of hot water an hour. You'll never run out of hot water. This particular one has a variable speed well pump, which basically is an on-demand well pump, right? You set this controller, it's got a digital little Pentair controller right here. You set that at 70 PSI. You're 70 PSI throughout the house. Whenever you open a faucet, it keeps it within 2 PSI, the set point at all times. Other than that, we're about to get her up and running here and give these guys some heat. My perception of a plumber was pretty vague in school. I never really thought about it. Running water's pretty important. Nobody really thinks about that and what they bring to the table for everything from healthcare to cleanliness. Everything has to do with running water.
When I moved here, I got into all construction and found plumbing, and it was the most intriguing, most fun, constantly something new, and it's exciting. And there's so much stuff to plumbing between gas, water, heat, boilers. There's so much stuff you can do in plumbing. That's why I loved it.
I think plumbing's super important. Running water changes everything, so I believe that job will always be there, and there will never be a shortage of work as a plumber. Your company might run out of work, but somebody else has it. There's going to be a job for you, for sure, as a plumber. We're currently in Wasilla on another one of our projects we have going, multi-family units, 6 units. 6 different families can live here. We started 2 days ago. We got our tubs and waste and vent and water going on. We've got our guys in the crawl space running the waters underneath and the heat down below. This is a large subdivision we're doing. We probably have 20, 30 multifamily buildings like this that we've done or in different stages of doing in this subdivision. And hopefully we'll be buttoned up with this project by the end of the week.
What we've basically just finished doing up here is these tubes here. So this isn't PVC, this is actually a PEX line, specifically designed for in-floor heating. Basically, the boiler heats up hot water, it runs through these lines and comes into these little metal panels here that radiate heat up through the floor. It gives you a nice warm floor in the wintertime. Super common thing we do up here.
We have a gentleman working for us that he's a boxer and trains, hard all week long and fights every now and then in the fights. I was a part of that organization for a while, and that's where I ended up hiring this kid because he was a hard worker and I seen it in the ring.
I've been boxing for almost 16 years now. Before I was a plumber, I was a boxer. Boxing is what got me into plumbing, and I've been plumbing almost 10 years now.
I'm not sure with Shanen exactly what drives him, than whether it's health, whether it's boxing. He just works hard at whatever he's doing. There's times where before a fight, maybe he'll ask for the day off before the fight to get ready for the fight. But for the most part, he works it side by side with work and manages to pull it off.
Just got done putting a bunch of gas pipe together. Through the midst of all that hard work, I can't lie, I'm excited and my mind's on the fight tonight. It's gonna be great, it's gonna be action-packed. I'm going for the knockout. I just keep playing in my mind exactly the steps we're gonna go through, from walking up to the ring, getting in it, and then just doing what we do. Move side to side, uppercuts, left hooks, move around the square circle, they call it.
You gotta be tough to deal with the elements in Alaska. Shanen Maddox of Hard Rok takes being tough to a whole nother level.
So when I was around age 13, I was kind of like your standard stereotypical young, dopey, fat kid who, liked to, eat a bunch of Cheetos and play video games and do all that stuff, and I received some bullying from it. And so I decided, I'm not gonna let people treat me that way. And so that's where boxing came into play. And I would say because of boxing, that was a whole big reason what led me into plumbing. So here I'll work all of my stuff here and get really better, and I'll go into Anchorage on the weekends and get my critical training in, whatever I've been working here throughout the week. Say if I got bad habits creeping in or anything going on like that, then I get a couple of different eyes on it and they go, yeah, you're doing good with this, but you need to do this or do that. And so what I really like to do fight night is just simply relax and get ready. You'll get guys in there that are all hyped up and they're, and they're getting ready and they're not even fighting for 3 or 4 hours, right? I'll sit there and I'll relax. And I'll relax and I'll warm up and I'll work in my mind gym. I'll get in there, I'll imagine the ring, I'll imagine the crowd, I'll imagine the sights, the sounds, the smells, everything I'll hear. So when I step in there, it's all business at that point. Always walking up to the ring, you always feel those butterflies in your stomach and you always feel some nervousness or maybe self-doubt. You'll always feel like that walking up to it, but as soon as I walk up those steps and then I hop in the ring and I just look across the ring and I see my opponent, all that just fades and melts out, and it's game time. Everything I have ever trained or I have been doing, it comes out in that session. All this training that we do, all of this conditioning that we do is so that when you get in there, habit takes over. You don't have to necessarily be rushing your mind with what to do because it's already trained in what you're supposed to do. I do all this training to get in that ring because that's where I love to be. In a place where you're supposed to feel the most uncomfortable, I'm finding that I feel very comfortable in that spot.
Well, in Alaska, you're having to deal with the elements. It's always colder, so it can affect your job. So you're always having to deal with heaters and diesel exhaust and propane heaters to keep your job going. Otherwise, your job's gonna stop, because it's just too cold. And sometimes at 50 below, if you don't have a heater, you're not working.
It can be difficult to get somebody to go out there and plumb houses at 0 degrees outside and there ain't even no doors or windows in the house yet. You know, it's hard finding kids that'll want to go do that. Kids can become fishermen, they can go to the North Slope on the oil fields. There's all kinds of options out there for them that probably keep them away from home longer than becoming a local plumber here. And there's plenty of work and building going on between here and Anchorage that can keep a guy busy and home every single night.
Listen, I tried to go to college. It just wasn't a perfect fit for me. I may not be sitting here with a college degree, but I'm sitting here debt-free with my own house and able to pursue my passions, which is, you know, my family and my boxing.
I love plumbing. It's helped out a lot. Even my son, he's only 24 and probably has more toys than most people. His own place, all from plumbing. Going to a trade school and doing plumbing or framing or something like that. It'd be really awesome. You're making money fast.
I'm proud to be a plumber. Everything Alaska has to offer in the great outdoors, plumbing has allowed us to enjoy all of that at its expense. It's allowed me to build a cabin. It's allowed me to have snow machines for my children and get my whole family outside by providing us with income to do it. I'm Bill Labuda, and I'm an American plumber.